What is going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. Right here we are going to be talking about the annual skate hand cannon that I hope you guys have laying around in your vault. This right here is a solar burn adaptive frame hand cannon that has some very good rolls for the PvP realm, in my opinion. I use this thing a lot for a 140 inside of that energy slot. I usually use my igneous hammer if I'm going with a 120 or this as my 140, and it feels so crisp and so clean with a couple different options, like I said, for rolls. So go look for this thing in your vault, dust it off, and I will show you why with this roll that I have on it, and we'll go over a couple different options for it as well for perks. So for me, PvP in this weapon, this is how I have mine in the gameplay that you saw, and we'll see at the end. This is the roll I have on mine with these stats. So first off, we have that true sight hand cannon that gives us +3 to range, handling, stability, and aim assist. Makes this thing, like I said, feel so crispy. Now we do have accurized on it to get that +10 to range, so it reaches out, feels very good at 63 range, like you can see, to fight some of those 120s as well as pulse rifles, especially on some of those smaller distant maps. This thing feels super crisp. You could go something like steady rounds as well, which gives you that +15 in stability. You only lose 5 in range, which really isn't that bad, being at the 48 as well, but getting 67 on stability makes this thing feel like a laser beam. Not too much bounce on it at all, but I prefer to have accurized rounds on mine. Now we are going with slide shot on this bad boy as well, so when we slide around, it partially reloads the magazine and gives us a boost to range and stability. You can see roughly 22 range and 32 stability, so that's why this thing feels so crisp when you're shooting it, reloading the magazine as you go, so you don't have to reload nearly as much, and it just feels so good on those hand cannons inside of the Crucible. Rose in the kinetic slot also has a roll with this and explosive payload, which is very similar to this annual skate right here, just in the kinetic slot, so that is also a very good option. But slide shot for me is definitely the go-to. You have two other options that I think you could roll with if you personally want. You got outlaw, so if you do get those precision defeats, you have that reload speed get juiced super high, which it feels like it reloads pretty good already, but it is a nice little perk as well. You could also go with tunnel vision. Reloading after defeating target greatly increases acquisition and ADS speed for a short duration, so this feels definitely better on scouts and pulse rifles, but if you have it laying around with tunnel vision, not a bad option either, but definitely should be looking for slide shot in that third column. Now when we move on to the fourth column, got timed payload. This thing feels so good inside of PvP, just like explosive payload. They feel kind of similar in my personal opinion. This thing is a little delayed because of that timed payload. Instead of hitting and exploding, it feels like it waits, like it says, at that 0.6 seconds. It is a long time in the Crucible, sometimes it feels like, but that is totally okay. That damage feels so crisp, especially with the range we have on this, and slide shot being able to reload just on that, and giving us that increase to range and stability sliding around. It is a menace inside of the Crucible, and definitely people aren't expecting you with a 140 to come out slapping as hard as this is, especially in that energy slot. Now we do have a couple options again in this third column that you could go with, something like Swashbuckler, especially if you're using a melee build. Titans, you know what I'm saying, you get that nice increased 2 damage based on your melee kills, or with kills with this weapon, melee stacks it right up to ×5, which is a 33% increase to damage. So that right there feels very good as well on hand cannons inside of the Crucible. Used to have that steady hand with it on it and just felt so good, but I do think I still prefer timed payload over Swashbuckler. Now the last option you could go with is opening shot right here, so you have improved accuracy and range on the opening shot of the attack. Feels good on basically any type of weapon inside of the Crucible. Opening shot on bows, snipers definitely feels like a game changer, and on hand cannons you will hit way more of your headshots on those first couple shots. So it feels so good in my opinion to turn this thing into a laser beam. With how it's built out, you could even go with that slide shot accurized opening shot as a 5 out of 5 god roll or timed payload. I think both of those are your best calls, opening shot or timed payload, if you have them in your vault. But I think I like mine with time payload over opening shot, but I don't have one anymore with opening shot and haven't been able to snag another in a good second here. But opening shot is such a goated perk inside of the Crucible, so don't sleep on it as well. Make sure to check your vault for this bad boy and you will skate right here. It is a menace inside of the Crucible. Like I said, this season can give you those nice solar orbs as well when you get those defeats on your fellow Guardians. 6s, I know 120s as well as pulse rifles have been reigning supreme, but this thing is comparable to the Rose if you're comparing to other 140 hand cannons, and that is definitely the king of 140s, I would say, inside of the Crucible for legendary hand cannons. And this thing has a very similar role with slide shot time payload instead of slide shot with explosive shot. So definitely go search your vault for this thing and give it a try. I truly appreciate all y'all for stopping into the channel. Make sure to stop by for those streams as well as enter the Discord and the channel. Hit that notification button and bell so you don't miss out on any of these videos, and get into the giveaway down below as well for that PC. So I truly appreciate all y'all for stopping by. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.